Welcome back to the
To the
20
20 an
hour.
hour. Hey, that was good.
We got really nothing to talk about this week,
Oh,
so we're just
nothing.
going to
Yeah.
ad lib everything.
Yeah. How was
Uh,
your week?
it was interesting because I was in an area that had no cell service, and it
Oh,
was
well,
really strange because even as a Gen X that got used never had cell service his whole life, I was
yep.
struggling without cell service. I'm not a social media, like I have Star for it, but it's, every now and then you can get on YouTube and watch a video or even a little TikTok while you're standing there. While, because obviously I'm a supervisor and I kind of watch people work, but not to have cell service was challenging for me. I didn't think it would be. But
This
I
time,
do,
yeah.
but I do pay for satellite in my company vehicle, and I found Dateline, so now I know that Dateline's on satellite, and I just listen to crime stories now, so just constant over and over again crime stories. So the
Same
true,
ones.
I'm a true crime fan, crime junkies, morbid. I like all that. There's a new one out
Mm.
called Cook County, and it's about a guy that was joined in the Chicago Mafia when he was 17 years old, and he was in charge of a brothel. I guess they all ran. Uh,
You know what? I could sit and watch mafia
you
documentaries.
got it's a series. It's actually pretty
Yeah.
good. It tells his story, but nobody knew he was in the mafia because he got married, had two kids, and he was a fireman paramedic
Oh,
when he got
wow.
older. So when he got older, he was in the mafia for a long time, and he was a hitman. So and
Oh,
then he
that's
decided to
interesting.
get out of it, and then so he joined the fire department, the Chicago Fire Department at Ameripet, and then on his days off, he was doing the mafia stuff. They wouldn't let him get out. So it's his story. His son is producing it. His son never knew he was in the mafia until he was 21 years old.
Wow.
Now he's and it's actually an interesting story
Yeah,
because
no, I'm always into the mafia
yeah, it's
stories, the
called
document, the true stories.
you get on the podcast. It's called Cook County, I think it is, and I think it's like 11 episodes. It's kind of interesting.
Well,
So
something to do to work out. Sometimes you get
yeah.
workout. You get tired of the music. So,
Well, I was listening to, XM radio. I listened to NFL Network, and for 4 hours, I listened to several people talk about the new rules. I mean, you get so many perspective of the new rules that they want to come out with. It's like, okay, this is getting old.
yeah,
Of course,
well,
Terrell Davis got on. I got to listen to Terrell Davis because I mean, I've got all his memorability here. The Hall of Fame hat and the shirts and stuff.
yeah.
So
Which I still haven't got my shirt yet.
yeah. Shout out to Terrell Davis.
Yep.
Probably one of my favorite players. Terrell
Yep.
Davis, TD,
TD.
TD.
I told you that story how I met him. Ever
How's
tell you
that
that
story?
story?
No,
I
I'll
was
tell
I
you. I'll tell
was
you how I met him too.
well, I was doing installs for the cable company and I was training a guy. And I told the guy, I said, here's a bunch of apartments. Rocky's just started, all this kind of stuff. I said, this apartment complex is set here, which is, not that far from Dove Valley where they train. No big deal. So we walked in, this guy doing install. There's this guy sitting on this couch, one couch, a laptop, didn't think nothing about it. We did his install and stuff like that. And he says, I just got accepted drafted from the Broncos. I said, okay. And I'm thinking in my head, well, I didn't hear about this guy. And I said, he kept pushing an autograph card. I didn't know who the guy was. He said, well, I'll give you an autograph card of my college.
It's probably worth
Right.
something now.
Well, you deface it, doesn't worth anything. But anyways, he signed it, didn't think nothing about it. I said, here, the guy that was with his name was Shannon. I said, Shannon, you take it. And I was telling him I'm way down from the apartment complex. That's why you carry extra balls, hockey pucks like that, because sometimes you run into these players. Didn't think nothing about it. We drive off and stuff like that. Well, who was this guy? And he shows me this Georgia college football card. He signed it Terrell Davis. No fucking
Nice.
clue who he was.
Oh, it
Seriously.
was rookie. Yeah, I got
It
a
was it
shirt.
was his rookie year. He just flew into town, and it was his little ass crack there. Sorry. Oh, there you go. Yeah, Hall of Famer Terrell Davis. Yeah, I was more worried about that ass crack when he stood up. I want to pull up those pants. I've seen these shirts. These shirts. I'm supposed to get one of these shirts. He signed them all. Yeah, you should frame them, iron them, and frame them. Is that his real signature? Silence.
Those are all like Hall of Fame. Those are all were autographed during the Hall of Fame ceremony.
Yeah.
And I've got you a shirt and a hat. One of those hats are yours. I just got to
Yeah.
give it to you.
Yeah.
So
No,
my
no,
story, so
I've
my
been a big
story is,
fan. So
and I probably told you this story because a friend of mine, very close friend of mine, is married to his brother.
yeah.
So, and they were having a birthday party for their daughter. So we went to their house, and there was rumblings that hey, Terrell's going to show up. So me and my friend and his cousin at the time were down. They have like a little like a Tetris, like a pinball machine down in their basement. So the three of us are drinking and we're playing. I think it was Galaga. I think it was Galaga. So we're playing Galaga, and the three of us are playing Galaga in their basement. It's just the three of us. Everybody was in the backyard. It was kids partying. The kids were playing on the trampoline. And the old house is in the basement. The windows are right here.
Oh yeah. The
So we're
smaller windows.
playing, and I'm standing there, and I'm like, man, is that an Escalade that just pulled up?
Oh shit.
So I'm so the three of us are at this window, and I'm a big guy, so I'm the smallest out of the three of us because these guys, one guy's like 400 pounds, 6'7", and my buddy's what 6'1", maybe 250, and all of a sudden you just see Terrell Davis come out of the car, and we're like running around in the basement and stuff because he at this time he's already retired before the
yeah.
Hall of Fame. He's already famous, so he is TD. I mean, he is the famous. So he comes walking in and yeah, and we're shooting the shit. Him and his wife and his I think it was two kids at the time. They got three now, and they come in and we're introducing and stuff and so they have this walkway and they have this little pergola and we're sitting there and he sits down. So it's the four of us sitting down and here I am asking Terrell Davis. And at the time, I don't know who it was, but it was a famous. Now he's famous. I can't remember who the running back was, but he was just drafted. And so we're asking, and here I am talking football with TD.
Wow.
Now, I'm got a little chubby going on here, so it's like it was kind of fucking nice because I mean, how many opportunities you get to talk football with the Hall of Famer?
Yeah. Yeah. And he's down
Seriously,
to
so
earth. He's
yeah,
a
and he's
yeah.
and I
So
told and I told him I said, man, TD, and this guy's in shape.
oh
I mean,
yeah.
dude, you could still go. And he
Yeah.
just started laughing
If it
at me.
wasn't, if it wasn't, I think it was his hip. I think it was his
No,
hip.
he crushed his ankle.
Something. It
I,
was something.
I was at the game where he blew his knee out, and then he said he was telling us that he broke bones on the bottom of his heel and his foot. So I think he crushed his foot, and it was happening. And that's why after he got back from his injury, when he tore his ACL, he was having a hard time running because I guess he had broken bones in his foot.
Oh
I
yeah.
think that's what it was. But yeah, that's my
Yeah.
story of treating TD.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
Nice guy,
Mine was
walks
a skinny little
what
black kid sitting on this couch.
walking around acting like he doesn't act like he's TD. He's just a normal guy.
Very
So
nice guy.
you know,
Yeah. Here,
so
at one point, he's begging us to take his college card signed. Begging us. There, let me sign it for you. It's like, oh, yeah, Shannon. And yeah, there it was Terrell Davis. Who's this Terrell Davis? At the point, I had no clue what Terrell Davis was.
yeah,
So yeah.
Terrell
Yeah, that
Davis, man,
was
Hall of Famer. One of my
Hall of
favorite
Fame.
players. I think him and Von Miller are my two favorite
Well,
players.
Von Miller, I got the helmet. I got the. I would love if he comes back into town for the Broncos because I tried really hard. I got the 50 Super Bowl ball that I paid for when he was
Oh,
MVP, and I want him to sign that.
well,
Yeah,
I've got the tattoo with Miles crossing his arm. He's wearing a jersey, and I had to choose what number. I was either going to be TD or Von Miller. Of course, Von Miller was playing at the time, so I got a jersey
Von
on it
Miller.
that says
Yeah, and then he got
58.
traded.
And then he got traded. I think I jinxed him. Damn it.
Well, he won another Super Bowl with the Rams, so that's a good
Yeah.
thing. So
So, well, I think he's going to come back and
retire as a
well, he
Bronco.
said I saw some kind of interview that he says I would like to come back, sign a retirement. I have a house there still, and they took care of me. It's my home, and I would like to go back and retire at Denver. And
Now,
he's
you
and
gotta understand.
they released him this year, and I haven't heard anything about him being picked up.
I didn't hear he was, but I tell you one thing. It's interesting how these athletes, Peyton Manning. I mean, he still lives here. It's like out of the money that he has. He's from. I think they're in what New Orleans
Louisiana,
or Louisiana.
yeah.
They could easily move back to where his dad is and everybody. But no, he stays here. He's got a house here. His kids are raised here, and
Well,
you know.
Jake Plummer's got a house here.
Yeah, well, yeah, I think he sold it though. He lived off of up in the mountains. I think he sold it this year. Put it
Oh,
up for sale.
oh,
Yeah,
maybe.
he had a
Well,
house up
now
in
now
like
you can go anywhere and get weed. I mean, before I think he
well,
lived
it's
here
not
just.
weed. He is specialized in magic mushrooms.
Oh, is it mushrooms that he
It's
does? Okay,
mushrooms now. Yeah.
okay.
So and a I think it's handball. And after
I
he
know he's
retired,
big in something like
was
racquetball or
like a
handball.
professional racquetball or
Uh,
handball or something like that. But yeah,
yeah,
so but you still
I'd
see
like
him
to.
at the
I'd like to see Von Miller come back to Denver.
oh, so would I.
Sign a 1 year deal, let him play out, maybe every other or third down, maybe
Yep.
1 year, or just sign if he wants to retire, just let. I
Never
know they
retire.
will, but they'll sign a 1 day deal and he'll
Yeah,
retire as a
and he'll make the
Bronco.
Hall of Fame and he'll do a Hall of Fame as a Bronco.
Oh yeah,
So
definitely
yeah,
Hall of Fame.
yeah.
First ballot Hall of Famer.
So, and speaking of Hall of Fame people, one of the you and I grew up in an era where we used to watch boxing.
Yeah,
Big Muhammad Ali fan, big George Foreman. George Foreman passed away yesterday
yeah,
at
70, 70,
76 years
76,
old.
78. Yeah,
Yeah. I didn't even know he was. Again, you see these athletes that you grew up with and you admire, then they die. It's like, well, I didn't know he was sick. It was like, wow. It's
well,
like,
was he? I read two articles yesterday, and that one article said what he died of.
no, they never do. But basically, he died at his home with his family there at 70. And I think 76 is pretty young. I mean, I'm sure he's been beat up, but he made more money off of it on
George Foreman grill.
George Foreman
I,
grills and I mean,
I tell you,
who was
how many Gen X people when they first moved out? Because when I first had my first apartment by myself,
George had the George Foreman grill?
I never used the oven or the stove. I had a little George Foreman that was plugged in every day.
Yeah.
I would throw a piece of chicken or something on there. I'd make they had the grilled cheese, and I would put the pizza sauce with the pepperoni, and I would
And
close it. Oh
he
yeah,
always
I
updated
use
it.
that every day.
Oh
George
God, we
Foreman, the
had
little
one.
one,
Yeah, I
the
had
very
one.
original one.
Yeah, the big ones. An interesting story. I saw a thing on Hulk Hogan, and they asked Hulk Hogan to be the advertisement of that grill. Do you know this story?
No,
And he actually turned it down. Yeah, I don't want to do a grill. Why would I want to do a grill? So they approached George Foreman, and George Foreman made millions off of the
billions of
thing.
dollars on
Yeah,
that.
I mean, but no, I think if I'm right, I think they asked Hulk Hogan to do it, and he didn't want to do it, and then the George Foreman was like, second, and look
Yeah.
how much money he made off of
Oh,
the
they
grill.
made shitloads. That was the best
No,
grill.
he was. I mean, some of the fights. And again, I grew up watching Muhammad Ali, George Foreman, Frazier, all those people. And we watched it with Foff, the grandpa. I mean, we used to sit there and watch, fights with Foff, Sugar Ray Leonard when they went out of the Olympics and all that kind of stuff, and watched
Yeah.
all that,
George
stuff
Foreman
like
was one
that.
of my favorites.
George Foreman was man, he was. I mean, he had a punch. He had even at the. I think when he was still fighting, I think he won the heavyweight around 50 years old. He still had that one right hand punch, and when it landed, you were down. So
He was a big heavyweight.
he was a big guy.
He was a large
Yeah,
man.
yeah, he was a
Yeah.
very large. Yeah,
Well, the
yeah,
whole what was the one in Milo and Vanilla, and what
yeah.
was the
It was George
George
Foreman and him.
Foreman and Muhammad Ali, wasn't it?
Yeah,
If I
yeah,
remember right. Yeah.
yeah,
I watched that
yeah.
fight. That's how old I am. I actually
And
watched
no,
it
yeah.
live
Well,
on
God, we
TV.
watched. Yeah, yeah. It was that. I remember that. I mean, working for the cable company, I remember the first pay per view fight. It was Hagler and Hearns.
Yeah,
And
I remember that.
it was like an Atari tape. If everybody remembers what an Atari tape is, we'd plug it in the back of the thing and click the thing in just to get the fight. That was the very fight that was on pay per view,
Yeah,
and I had to do. We were working late that night to do installs on it.
yeah,
So yeah, no, it's a loss. It's always a loss when you have an athlete that even after he fought, he was still a public figure and all that kind of stuff. So yeah,
yeah. He was
so
bigger
yeah,
in life.
yeah. So we lost him today. So yesterday. So sad. So you don't get fights like that. And I'm not into like you're more into the MMA UFC than I am. And no reason why that because I just don't feel like paying the $90 to watch a fight every Saturday, no matter who it was. But yeah. So and
Yeah,
then
I'm
the
not
sad
that.
part.
The kids are more into it than I am. I don't even know the fighters anymore.
Yeah, I watched it. Don't forget that in the cable world, that UFC and the MMA started once a year. They used to have a major event where they bring all these people out of the woodworks, and they all fought for one price. And they all just beat the shit out of each other, and the last man was standing. And I forgot the name of it, and it ended up becoming a pay per view event. It was once a year, and and they
Was it
people
like
would just
Royal? Was it the Royal Rumble
so
or
they
something like
would
that?
sign up for it, and they don't care who you are. They would show up and they would just fight. It was like fight night, it was like back Fight Club or something like that, and they would all just beat the shit at each other. And whoever last man standing won like I don't know $5,000 6,000, and it ended up being this. Now it ended up becoming MMA, and it comes like that. And don't get me wrong, these fighters don't make them much
They
as
do
as
now.
they
They
do now.
make
They were at one time their pay was $500,000.
yeah.
So if you want to fight, you got $500,000. Where you got what's his face walking out with who's the guy in Vegas? Not Tyson. Best pound for pound. He got
Della
arrested. He got
Della
arrested for
Hoya?
no De La Hoya, not the Golden Boy. He just recently he just fought the guy from Ireland, MMA against him. Who am I thinking of? God damn, I can't believe I'm drawing a blank. But he used to
Just
walk out with bags of cash because the IRS wouldn't catch him. So every time he'd fight, he'd walk out with 4 or 5 bags of $30 million. So the IRS didn't know how much
talking
he made
about
on a fight.
boxer or MMA?
Boxing.
Oh, you're talking about
Yeah, no.
Floyd Mayweather.
Boy, yeah, yeah, yeah.
You're
And
talking about me.
he got busted for tax evasion. So ever since then, all his winnings were cash. He would
Yeah.
walk out with bags of cash.
Well, they interviewed him. He was opening up a strip joint in Vegas, and he was at a bank loading his SUV with cash.
Yeah,
They would come out with cars. He was in front of a bank, and they're
yeah,
interviewing him on like uh, TMZ, I think it was. Actually, I think it was TMZ, and the bakers and the cops would come out with his carts with cash wrapped up, and he was putting it in the back of his because he doesn't pay. That's
he
how he
doesn't. Yeah,
pays
he
cash.
doesn't.
So he
No,
was starting to open up. I guess he opened up some titty bar in Vegas.
yeah. He did that
So
because he didn't know people don't know how much he made, so he had to pay taxes on it.
yeah,
So,
well,
which
I
you don't pay
guess
state taxes in Nevada, but still,
yeah,
yeah.
whatever.
But other good thing about the other fun fact of George Foreman, did you know what his sons are or their first names are?
They're all George Foreman.
All George.
He's got five sons, and they're all George Foreman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he used to call him 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Well, can you imagine? Hey, George! And then all five of them
Yeah.
show up.
One. Come here, one.
Yeah. I'm gonna fucking spank you for doing what you're doing, George. And everybody's like, "What's George?"
Yeah. They don't say what, they all run.
Yeah.
you
So
know. So yeah, all their sons are named George.
yeah,
So yeah. Yeah. How many
that's
did
a
he
weird.
have?
That's the weird part. I think he had five sons that are named George.
Yeah.
I think. Alexa, how many sons did George Foreman have?
George Foreman's sons are George Foreman III, George Foreman IV, George Foreman Jr., George Foreman V, and George Foreman Vi.
Five. It's five.
So you got George Foreman Jr., not
Yeah.
so it started with 2, 3, junior, senior, and 5.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
that's
that's a
funny.
great man. It was a good man.
Yeah.
Good man. So
Prayers to his family. I'm sure they'll have a big funeral.
yeah.
So,
Yeah. What
but
else is
yeah,
going on? You
nothing.
worked out today?
I worked out today. I did legs today for the first time in like four
Yeah, I don't
weeks.
do legs.
I got to at least get a leg and an ab workout, but with this I get into a hotel and I always try and find a place where there's a gym, but sometimes where I have to go where my crew is working, sometimes it's an hour away, so sometimes I don't have a lot of time to do the whole workout.
Yeah.
So I'll do push, pull, legs, and then push, pull. I try and get 5 days in. Lately, I've only been getting four. So
I can only do 4, and I do so much walking at work. I do about
yeah,
the most
I don't even know
9 miles.
why you,
I
I
do
don't even
9
know why you
miles.
do cardio.
I do 30 minutes to 40
Uh,
minutes of cardio plus an hour
if
of
you're getting
lifting.
16 to 18,000 steps a day, fuck that cardio shit.
Oh, yeah. Well, I do it to waste time because if I don't, then I'm at work an hour
Oh,
early. So
I'd lift more weights.
yeah, no, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So speaking about weight, so I've been looking up, different ways and age and all that kind of stuff and different biceps and stuff like that. Let's throw it out to our 68.
No, no, it's 71.
Holy crap. 71.
71.
Ooh, we finally made 70.
We beat our
70.
71 followers,
Wow.
man. I am
That took a while.
I am fucking stoked. It only took almost
70.
eight months to get 71 followers.
70, yeah.
That's how fucking
So-
awesome. That's how awesome we are.
Awesome. 70.
71.
We
We keep saying 70. It's 71. 71.
71. Sorry, 71. I don't want to leave that one person
Don't leave
out.
that one person out
Which
because
which could be a family member, but still could be.
Yeah. And if you piss them
But
off,
if
they
you
might
throw that,
leave and we might
yeah,
lose one. So
let me throw it out to everybody. What is the best? Should you curl biceps or be heavier weights? Because I see a lot of the bulky guys, the muscle guys, are doing lighter weights but more form. I
I
mean,
was always told to
well, we're
do,
talking back in the 80s and 90s when we first started lifting. It was always heavy, 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 and then you do a mass. What do you call it? Mass workout where you try to lift up
well,
and then heavy
you're doing to failure.
max out.
So
Yeah, so
you're
you're
doing
doing
to failure. So I
yeah to
mean,
do it to failure.
if
Yeah,
and I did the 40, 50 pound curls, and I was doing, even the they call 21s. I was doing the 50, 60 pound
still do
21s.
the 21s.
Yeah, I do it a different way now, which is easier, and I'll have to show you.
Yeah,
So, but it's so I do the 21s about every other week. I started doing the spider curls.
yep. I just started doing
Do
that
the spine
again.
where you lean up against the
Yep,
your bench, and you're
yep,
putting your chest on there and you're doing spine. They call them spider curls. But lately, I have been doing. I've dropped from 40 to 35, and then even last week I dropped to 25 and 30. So I've been doing 25 and 30. I'll add an extra two. Like instead of doing 10, I'll do 12. But then
yep,
I kind of, even on the hammer curls, I came up and then I started twisting as I came up, and you get that burn.
yep,
So I was reading something and I can't remember the guy's name, but he said that that's a smaller muscle. You can get away with doing 20, 25. Because I see the same thing. I see these friggin', these muscle heads that are friggin' doing 25, 30.
yeah,
Even some guy was doing the reverse flies on his shoulders. He was using 30 pounds.
yeah,
So, and he was saying that same thing. He goes, after a while, I mean, obviously you want to tear the fibers, you want to go to failures, and then every time they start, your muscle repairs itself. Your muscle's supposed to be getting bigger.
yeah,
So, so I did the 25, and I went up. I did two 25s, and I did two sets of 30, and I was still burned.
yeah,
So it's all about not jerking moment. It's all about nice. You come up, you squeeze, and you always and you're coming down slow, and everything's got to be controlled.
yeah.
So
Because I got guys that are in there. Oh, and they're bouncing. The best ones when they do the curl and they're like their whole body is moving. It's like,
yeah,
what is that doing? It's great that you're doing 70 pounds, but you're not working out the muscles here. Your back is probably pulled, everything else because you're jerking it. And it's like, yeah. So everybody, I mean, they got people. I mean, obviously, when I get there, it's more people 45, 50 in my age, and
yeah.
there's a couple of young kids there. They don't show up until 5, 6 o'clock because they can't get up that early because I get there when the gym opens. But they do the same thing. It's the simple motion, but they use 25 pounds. It's like, holy crap, this guy, I just saw this guy bench press on dumbbells at 80 pounds a piece, and here he's doing curls with the smaller weights. So yeah,
Yeah.
I just,
It's a
you
different
know,
muscle size, is what I think it is. I'm not a professional, but that's my opinion. I mean,
well,
your
let's
bite,
ask.
your yeah, I
Our
mean, your bite.
71 people, there's got to be someone out of the 71 people that, what do you do? Is it heavy weights or is it repetition? Well, I don't even do repetition because sometimes if I'm in a hurry, I'll drop to do 3 15s. I usually do 4 12s, but I do 3 15s. That way, yeah, I'm out to the next one. I don't know if that saves time, but I mean, I do sets every minute. Is that what you do? I wait a minute and then I do it. Some people do 2 minutes
No,
now.
any 1 to 3 minutes is what you should be doing because
Well,
you're
I do one
relaxing.
minute. I
Yeah,
do
so
1 minute.
you're
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, if you're doing the 20, 30 seconds, that's more of a cardio, you're getting your heartburn. But
Yeah.
once you let your muscles rest, you can actually lift heavier weight. So 1 to 3 minutes is probably good. I don't count anymore. I go to failure. So I'll grab like a 20 or 30 pounds, and I'll do a quick like 15, 20 just to get the muscle and get the blood in the muscle. And then I usually pick up a couple like 25, 30, 35. And then I don't even count. I just go to failure. And sometimes that's 8, sometimes that's 10, that's 12. Sometimes if it's light enough, I'll go 15. But I do 3 sets to failure, everything I do.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah, I do 3 sets 15 or 4 sets of 12.
yeah.
And a lot of times I went back to the old EAS sometimes. So
And
I'll
I do
start
too.
I mean I did like I
The
did I
body
did
for life, yeah.
yeah, the body for life that they did 90s at 90s 2000s I think we did that. And it's and I do I start out light and do that and go back up, but I did that yesterday with the biceps. I started with 42. Our gym has weird You would think it would just do 5, 10, 15, and 5, 10, 15, and then jumps to 42.5, and then it jumps right to 57. So, or 50 to 57. So it doesn't jump
You
five
talking about you're
pounds.
talking about the cables?
Cables, yeah.
Yeah.
So I do the 40, do the 50, and then I jump to 57. I go back to 45 is where I started.
Yeah.
And that because that when you and I did that back in the day, that was one of the best workouts I've ever done.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, but so
Yeah,
yeah, so
because
yeah,
you'll go light, heavy, heavy, back to light, and you go to failure.
you go to failure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
I mean,
yeah.
we're not, by all means, I'm not in shape or have no
Oh,
fucking
trust us, we're not.
no
Yeah,
clue to talk about working out. I'm just an
we
old.
I work out
I'm an
the
old guy that likes to throw weights around because it's my 2 hours of zen. It's the 2 hours that nobody
and
bothers me. I
again,
put music on, and it's like a mental. It's more of a, I
I
think
have.
sometimes it's more mental than it is physical
Well,
for
it's
me.
not just
So
mental for we just turned 60, and I know people that are my age, a little bit older, they can barely walk, they can barely move, and it's one of those things where at 60, it's like I'm not trying to get shredded or bulk or anything. I just need to get the muscles moving because I again, our father at 87, 88, before he passed away, he could barely move. He wasn't drinking protein. He wasn't like when I get to that age, I want to be able
God,
to move.
God, God damn, I hope I make that age. I mean,
Yeah, no shit.
I mean, at 60, I think I'm at 5 year increments. I'm just happy to make it now. Now
I know.
my
That's
party
what
time,
happened.
because 65, I'll be partying, and then 70. I mean, I'm just happy to make it then. And then
Yeah,
after
no
70, I'll
shit.
probably be a 3 year increment because I can,
Yeah.
you know, I just wish I could get rid of the belly. I've tried everything. So
Well, that's that. The belly is easy. Lose weight. You
it's,
got to eat. You got to eat right, and
that's,
that's we
I
like
eat right.
food.
I eat right all the time.
Do you?
I look at what I eat every time. I
Exactly.
watch it as it goes down.
Yeah.
I'm on a diet deficit. I do everything. I think my problem is my diet deficit kind of dwindles off on the weekends, and that's
Oh,
probably
mine's
what
the
my
same
problem
way.
is. Because
I eat very light, very healthy.
I make prep meals Monday through Friday. I eat protein. I do 200 to 250 grams of protein a day. I try and eat about 2,000 calories a day, and I do it Monday through Friday. Saturday and Sunday, it's like a no holds bar. I try.
Alcohol.
Well, I don't. I'm not a big drinker anymore. I can't keep up with these guys anymore. I might have a couple beers, but not like we did back 10 years ago.
I
Where
went out. I don't go out much. I went out with a couple friends at work, and a lot of them are been with the company for 30 years, so they're shooting the shit. Blah blah blah. There's another guy that I hang out with at work. He's in our same work group. He's turning 60 this month. He's actually next week he turned 60. So I'm a month and a half older than him. And they all get up. We all have, blah, blah, blah. We get up. It was like 8 o'clock, and they're all trying to figure out what bar they want to go to so they can have. But, out of six of us, seven of us, five of them are 30, 35 years old. And it's like, hey, you coming with me? Oh, what am I going to go do? Sit at a bar and just do shots and get shit faced? I just don't do that anymore. It's not my
I want to know what blah 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 means.
blah 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 means it's one of those blah blah blah. Do you go or you don't go? It's like it's like they all just of course the one guy that's 60 he went. It's like, oh, more power to you. I just I think he did it more for because they I think he's been there for 30 years at FedEx. And then all these people that are, I got someone that's 65 years old, it's been there for 35 years. I don't know
Yeah,
what they make, but yeah, I can't wait that long. But yeah,
yeah.
but yeah, so, but yeah, it's just if you guys let us know, write us out, just send us a message. Heavyweights, style, lower your weights. Give us some good ways to do some biceps. We do hammers. We do. I'm always online looking for something different because I don't like doing the same. I do the same routine for a couple of weeks. I get bored. I sit and watch some of these guys that come in and do it, they do them quickly. There's a firefighter in there that is just shredded, and he does stuff that the funny part. Some of these young guys do stuff that I'm thinking, there's no freaking way I could do that.
Yeah.
Because I just don't. My body. We have to. Both of us have to get our core. So I think that's what I'm more focused on my sit ups and getting my core because I struggle with just getting out my back and all that kind of. Of course, you've had back surgery, so you're worse than I am. But that's the one thing I want to focus on this summer is working on not just doing the curls and the back and the push and pull and all that kind of stuff. We need to start working on our core
I gotta start
inside.
working on my stomach.
Yeah, my
Yeah,
so do
yeah.
I. And I think that's what's going to do it. So, No, because I got guys that
because
are
I haven't seen my core in 30 years.
no shit.
So, you know, my
I think
core looks
I
like
think the
my core
last
looks
core.
like I've been trying to give birth to this friggin' baby for 10 years now.
I think my core was when we did work out. I remember when we started that EAS, I was at my heaviest. It's like, oh my god, I can't believe I weigh 220,
Yeah.
and I ended up getting down to 187. It's like, and then both of us have made it up to almost 300 pounds. I mean,
Yeah.
I was at 301 was my heaviest.
Oh, I was upset at being 210.
Yeah, yeah,
When we
I was
started
220.
EAS, I got back
Yeah,
down to 175, and yeah, and then my heaviest was 305.
yeah, it was 301. I remember when there was five of us that started that ESA program, and we all did it for one of our he passed away, one of our best friends. He was over 300
He was
pounds at the time.
380.
It
He
was
was
three,
380.
yeah, it was something like that. And there was another guy that we worked out with us up there, and both of them lost almost 150. Both of them lost a person,
Yeah.
and all of us were supervisors, and we were working out for them, and and then and it was a great program. It taught you how to eat. It really wasn't a diet. It was the 6 meals a day, size of your fist, and you had the protein. They promoted the protein. Back in the day, we used to, if you and I think the other problem was when they used to interview Elway or Shannon Sharp. They used to have, remember, they used to have the
EAS.
EAS
EAS was a
packages.
big thing back in
Yeah,
the
and they ended up
90s.
and they destroyed it when they sold it to Weeder.
Yeah.
You remember that? And
Yeah.
everything got expensive after that. But anyways, yeah, let us know. Write us back. I know we're running over a little bit, but let us know what you guys think. Give us some different exercise if you like light. I'm gonna go light. I've been doing some research over the weekend and maybe try something different. So yeah, let us know.
And get to the gym. I don't care who you are. I mean, there's move, get
Move.
up. Yeah.
Father Dentino. That was the one thing he used to always tell me. You got to get up and move.
Yeah. And
Move.
we had a dad that it was no holds bar. He wasn't gentle. You were fat and you need to lose weight. And
Yeah.
then he'd see a picture on Facebook and everybody would say, "Oh, you guys look great. Oh, look at you. What a happy family." And then my dad would come down and say, God damn, how much steak did you have yesterday?" Or, "God, you guys sure like you eat a lot." And my dad had no fucking,
Yeah. He was
so
the same guy that says, "Man, wow, I lost 80 pounds." Well, yeah, you were diagnosed with cancer, Dad.
yeah. So
You lost weight because
chemo kind of
chemo kind of
helped
kicked in with
that.
that one. I didn't want to lose weight that way. So, he used to brag about that, but yeah. Yeah, keep moving. So, what was that?
I'm just happy we're doing podcasts still, even though our 71 followers.
71 followers. Let's
Yeah.
go for 75 next week.
Yeah.
All right. We'll talk to you guys next week. We might have a little guest.
My
I would
daughter,
love to.
my youngest daughter she's the last kid out of the family, so she'll be here on probably do it Saturday again. So we're recording this on Saturday
Yeah, so
because I hate
we'll
to
see
say it,
that.
for all the we're going to start going to church,
Oh,
so that's a new
this is
thing now.
maybe something we should talk about.
So we're going to start going back to church. We're all Catholic. Son's pushing the idea that wants to go. He's been going to church by himself, and he asked me to join him. So I think we're
Oh,
all. So we all been baptized except for my son, and there actually might be a baptism party.
my kids have not been
David
baptized.
David wants to be baptized, and
Was
I
Sammy
think
baptized?
and Sammy hasn't, but David is pushing it.
Yeah, my two kids have not been baptized.
So
Well, good. Hey, good for you. Maybe I'll
yeah,
join you.
yeah. It's in
Yeah,
our the church he goes to is in Arvada,
that's a Catholic church.
Catholic church.
Oh, okay. What
I
time does
don't
it start?
He goes to the 9:30 mass.
All right. We'll
So
talk
and
about
then
this off the line.
we'll
Good
go
for
to
them.
I'll go to church, and then we do a brunch afterwards.
All right.
It'd be nice to get together with everybody.
Yeah, that would be actually kind of fun.
So, quick story.
Okay. Let's
So,
everybody get
my twin brother and I were going to CCD, which is called
No.
catechism. So we were 7?
12,
No,
12, 13. Yeah.
no, we were in junior high. This is
Now we're about 9, 10 years old.
yeah,
It was-
7, 8, 9 years old, playing baseball. First year playing baseball. My old man was coaching,
And our
and,
neighbor, don't forget Kenny.
and our neighbor Kenny.
Yeah.
And we would have to go to CCD every Thursday night, I think, if I remember right.
No, I thought it was a weekend, but
Oh, it
anyways.
might have been a weekend, but anyway,
Yeah.
so we'd go to CCD and we'd have to open up our booklets, our Bibles and stuff, and then my dad would have plays, baseball. We'd have plays, and we would have the plays in our Bible. during the
and our work,
class.
it really isn't a Bible. It was a kind of a
It was
worksheet.
kind of a workbook.
Yeah,
It was kind of
yeah,
like a school, like a textbook type thing, but it
yeah.
teach you about God, and you had to get your communion. We never got our communion.
Well, the backstory also is that we had the nun that was actually help us left. We had somebody new, right? And I remember that. And then at the end, we were getting ready to make our communion. They had a meeting. The nun and the priest had the meeting with mom, dad, and Kenny's parents. And basically, we never did it because the exact words out of her mouth was,
The
"They're
nun
not they're not into God. They're into baseball." And we never went back.
never
Did I
went
say
back.
that right?
Yeah,
Yeah, they're
yeah,
not into God. They're into baseball.
yeah. So we were actually asked to leave catechism
At 9, 9,
at
10 years
nine.
old,
At nine, I
because
think it was like 7 or 8, but yeah.
but because we
So
were again,
so
we
maybe
weren't into
so maybe we
God.
can
We
all
were
go to
into
church and maybe we can get our communion and stuff, and then we can do the,
do
you
the
know,
wine and the bread.
yeah.
And if you're on a diet, then just suck on the bread. I guess it's too many carbs.
But
So, well, good. That was a great story. That was.
I forgot about that story, but it brought up memories when we're talking
Yeah.
about that.
That just tells you how much we were in. I mean, that was the first. Wasn't football. We did put you and I both played basketball, but the one sport that, of course, Dad, being a big Cubs fan, it was baseball.
Big
We were
baseball.
always in the baseball. Dodgers. We were going to Dodgers game for back then $2 or $3 a seat. Now they're
And we were going
sold.
2-3 times a week. We were going
Yeah,
all the time.
We were going every weekend. Yeah, Dad used to take us every weekend when you get off of work. So yeah.
Yeah.
So
But
yeah. Anyways, that was a good story.
good story.
They're not into God. They're into baseball, and it was 3 of us. It wasn't like us two. It was our neighbor too.
Well, I don't remember Kenny going.
Yeah, Kenny was there.
Oh, I don't
Yeah,
remember that.
yeah. Kenny was there, and it was
Then
the 3
again,
of
I
us that
don't.
were there.
Sometimes I don't remember what I did yesterday, so
Yeah,
it's not surprising.
yeah. Anyways, thank you. Hey guys, have a good weekend. Don't forget to subscribe. Let's try to go 75 by next week. That'd be great. That'd be a goal. Keep it short. We don't have to go big. Just 4 more. So
We are on
let us know
all.
what your favorite weight is, how to work out. We're into that too. So we'll go from there.
We're in all social media. We do have full videos on YouTube.
Yep.
So like,
Everybody,
subscribe.
peace out.
Oh, I can't do the 2 pink on that finger. Yeah, that one.
There you go.
That one. All right.
See ya.
See ya.
Oops.